All right, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. Let me share my screen. Was there anything from the salt stack side of things, Sage, that you wanted to bring up? Because I think there was something covered in the last couple of open hours, and I think I caught up with them afterwards, just in the notes.
Yeah, you guys are actually running with things quite well, and I think it'll be easy. I can help you with it. There is a project charter that I'd like to put together. Mostly for this group, it is to garner more participation from other groups and to see if we can get just more involved in what you guys are doing on the salt stack side as well, because I think that you guys are doing some really cool stuff. So I want to make sure people are aware of it. So that's kind of it. And that is, I have just an MD file in the community repo. I'll just make sure that you have it and we can start filling it out together. And that's it.
Okay, that's fine. I think this was the like I said, I only read the notes, but I believe it was this PR came up in the last open hour, and it was about whether this was needed or not from the formula side of things.
Right.
It's only a small PR. It was actually something I did and someone ported over, and they were asking, do we actually need this? And the conclusion is, or what we've seen so far, we're just asking for a single thing to be added here. And it does look like we could make a lot of use out of it, because we are using this, like we're manually adding this to all of our formulas. So
yeah, we need it.
Yeah, no, because what it is in the conversation here, I linked to another, this was a while back, we were talking about it. I linked to another point that Max had made about there is one case where it doesn't work, but there are many cases, where it does still work. So we'd like to keep going with that. I don't know if it's you I should be talking to or whether I should continue on the PR. Was there anyone specifically who raised this that I need to talk to?
I think it was a community member, and then Wayne was helping them to write tests. And so giving it to me is perfectly fine. I will go back and make sure that that's getting in. I think that, does it still needs a test case on this particular master port?
No one's commented here.
Okay.
Whether it does.
I'll find out.
Yeah, if you find, I mean, I think I'd better write that test case pretty easily anyway, if they do need it. Yeah, because this was written before the obviously in the develop page when we had the develop branch. So yeah, either way, if we need tests, we can do that.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll follow up.
Fine. And was there any other points? I think there was something else maybe a week or two back, but again, I haven't had a chance to really catch up. If there is one, go on. No, go on.
The only other thing that I was going to say is that we talked about the cab and SEPs, but I don't think that was specific to this group or anything.
Okay.
Did you have something else?
No, I was just giving you a chance in case there was something that we've been missing. Because I haven't been around for a while. I'm not sure anyone else was there either. Was there any particular SEPs that we needed to look at?
I don't think so. I know last time you guys talked about the name for Salt Stack, and we can get an exception for you guys to keep that, we believe, and I'll work towards that. Other SEPs in here, I don't think that there'll be, I mean, we'll want to get with you guys really closely as we do the proposal to add inclusive language, because that one's actually really, I don't think people realize how large that is. You know, like that's going to affect a lot of things. The enterprise side is already going to start using the word controller instead of master, but we don't have plans for that just yet. So I'll keep you guys informed on that.
Right. I was just sort of looking here at the community. I can't remember where it is, the community settings again. Where is it? I'm just trying to remember. Where is it? Project? No, that's not the one. It's definitely under settings, I think.
Gosh, I thought it was here too.
Yeah, unless I'm looking in the complete. No, it's not here. It's under the organization itself.
Oh, the org settings.
That's right.
There you go.
But I still can't remember where it is. What am I looking for again?
Is it up at the top at access or member privileges or?
No, I don't think it's any of those. What am I looking for even? I know I'm looking for something and I can't remember what it is. But okay, if you let us know either way, and we'll try and do what we can from our side as well. Obviously, we'll try and stay in sync.
Yes, we'll keep you guys informed.
Yeah, it would be a little bit tough. We've got 350 repos here, so to switch everything over to other branches and stuff like that will be a bit tough. but
Yes,
perhaps we can figure out a way. We'll see.
we'll see.
All right, then. Thank you
I
very
don't
much.
think it would be that tough, Imran.
Yeah, you reckon what an API call or something?
Are we talking about, for example, renaming master to main or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of them. Mhm.
I mean, all I'm saying is, Imran, you already have automation around this, so I just feel I don't think it would be that much of a hassle with SSF to change the branch, the default branch.
I wasn't thinking about so much the 100 formulas that we've got under that. I'm thinking about the other 250 as well, because unless there is a really simple API call, which I haven't looked at, perhaps it would be quite easy. I don't know. If there is an API call, just switch, as in create the main branch and just switch it over to being the main one, what's it called? The default branch. Perhaps, yeah, I haven't just checked it, that's the thing, and I don't know what that would entail.
It's not as difficult as changing branches like we did from develop to master, and then we kept develop around. Changing the name is slightly less.
Yeah, less disruptive. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know, there's this GH command.
No,
line command.
Where it says actually GH. Do you know, is it a package that we have to install for that? Is it some sort of GitHub package?
It is, yeah. I only know on Mac it would be called, I think, GitHub CLI or something. But yeah, no, it's not there. It's GitHub CLI.
Oh, it's GitHub CLI, yeah.
Hold on a second. I'm a bit all over the place here.
Here it is. This is what I think you mean.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I mean, it's fairly new, but the CLI command, I believe, has a thing to access the GitHub API. So even if the command hasn't been built into it, then it makes it easy to access the API as well. So yeah, I'm sure we could do something around that.
Okay. Yep. We can have a look at that, definitely. Is that something you guys know about, Sage?
Yes, we're definitely aware of the GH command. We haven't put anything in place for it just yet, but
all right,
definitely aware.
Okay, I thought you might have tried some stuff out with it and got some.
A little, yeah,
okay.
A little bit. All
right, we'll bear that in mind definitely, and we'll pay attention to what's going on from the salt stack side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it actually still called salt stack? Am I making a mistake now? Do we actually call it something else? The salt project now, from now on?
Yeah, so since there's a split between the two products, and it's confusing because the company was named SaltStack, right? And so now there's SaltStack, the product, which is enterprise, and Salt Project, which is the open source project.
Right. So it is Salt Project now.
It is.
Okay.
And we just refer to the software as Salt, like we always have.
Okay. Okay. Yep. Yeah, mixing up all the. Okay, got it. All right.
You and everybody else, no big deal.
Yeah, we all got to catch up with this. Yeah.
Yes. All
right. Then going back to the formula side of things, just like to look at this PR and try to get it merged, to be honest, because I'm happy with it. We did ask, just not really sure if people have seen the call out. I'm not sure if that's hitting everyone properly, but this is to get the new map ginger out there into the template formula, and then hopefully anything that gets cloned from this formula when this template is used will be using the new map ginger. So, I mean, obviously Daniel and myself are happy with this. David, any comments on this? Because otherwise I'd like to get on with merging it.
I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't looked at it since it was merged into OpenVPN formula, I think. So, I mean, yeah, if you guys are happy with it, then go on.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, I'm sure that it doesn't break anything, or I mean, even if it does break anything, that would be documented. That's those are the important things.
I think obviously we've seen it implemented in 2 or 3 formulas now. I think it's 3. And at the moment, it's been hanging together really, really well. I've not seen anything it's brought to the table where, okay, there's an issue there. It's working really well. And obviously, Daniel's putting a ton of effort here, which we appreciate a lot. And I think it's really time. It's time to move on, because being able to configure it, configuring your map instead of actually touching map Ginger, but configuring it with other files, I think is really, really powerful. Daniel, any comments about this, Daniel? Because I'd like to get on with merging it, to be honest.
Well, for this formula, there is nearly no difference with the OpenVPN one, except the macOS stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, in the list of files, you have the macOS.yaml.jinja.
Yeah, there it is.
Yes, this one.
Yeah.
Which make an example of how to use Jinja to look up dynamically things, and how to write the values dictionary, the values YAML, to be merged with the rest. And if I remember, there is no post template in the template. There is no post map.
Yeah, because it's done by this instead. So there's no default macOS.yaml file.
No, because it does nothing.
Right. But there can be, of course, if a formula has configuration for macOS, then we can have that file there, of course, and override it with the Ginger file.
Yes, you have that with Java formula, for example.
Yeah. Hopefully I've still got that open. No, I don't. Let's see this one over here.
I don't remember which one, but there is Debian and Debian. Yes, Debian.yaml and Debian.yaml in OS family.
So in OS family, we've got the YAML, which is default settings, and then the Ginger that's needed to override those. So there's your default settings for Debian, and the override is for, the repo. To make sure we get the right repo in there, because we've got some Ginger in there to figure it out. Yep. Like I said, I'm really happy with this. I think this is really powerful now. I've gave Daniel I don't know if anyone noticed in the channel, but I was mentioning there's another use case. It's from the Postgres formula. And what we have there is an early lookup. And I think we have it in the salt formula as well. So you've got this concept of, where is repo? Repo.yaml. So repo.yaml, what it's doing is it's grabbing the defaults before the final merge is completed, so that it can use the values in the defaults to make some other calculations along the way. So this is, while we're merging, we're trying to grab data from the currently merged, the merged train so far, to pull into another YAML file. So this was an interesting concept, but yeah, go for it.
Actually, what it does, I didn't really look up before, but it gets the pillars and then fall back to default if there is one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, with the YAML merging, this code is not needed anymore.
So
just
you're saying
load the defaults. Yes, just load the default with the default values.
Yeah.
And then for the repo, not even the repo, just the pillar lookup does the job directly without any. This file is completely unneeded.
Unneeded in the new system. I'm just thinking about this for a minute, because there was a reason for this. This was there before I started playing around with this formula a lot. And I'm trying to remember why it was necessary. And I can't remember.
Maybe we can find that the repo.yaml is used, is loaded from the map.
Oh, here it is here. You see, it's being used in another YAML file here. So repo.yaml's here. So it's not in the map now, it's in another level of YAML files. And what it's used for is repo. Let's have a look. So it's checking whether certain settings are being collected. So it's actually collecting stuff from the pillar, which is merged last maybe, and it's pulling it forward. So it's almost like a reverse merging in a sense, because it's saying, we don't know if this value for use upstream repo is set in the defaults or whether it's in the pillar. So we're pulling it in early so that we can check it in this other YAML file. So it is a little bit more tricky than that. There's a little bit more going on than, maybe there's a better way of setting up the data, but there is something tricky going on here.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to does it have the map data dump?
Not. It might do because I think I did it for this. Let's have a look. Wrong form, wrong directory. Postgres. What am I doing? Oh, it doesn't have it. No, I thought I'd done it.
Okay, I will. I think I will first does the right. Excuse me. I will first do the map dump, the map data dump.
Yeah.
To be sure we have something equal. For the repo.yaml, for me, it's not needed anymore. And I think all that processing, Jinja processing, may be done in post-map. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go on.
But this one is a good one. Is a good example.
Yeah.
To test yeah.
Yeah, it would be another scenario. It would be another scenario for us to test. But I don't think that prevents us right now to move on with template formula because most formulas don't have something like this. And I think it's great if we can start getting this out there so that when people are cloning or making a template or using it as a cookie cutter, that they're getting the newest map Ginger now.
I agree. Even if some people really don't like to have splitted YAML files, but
it's a disadvantage in a sense, but I think once you can see how you can use it in your own overrides, the power starts becoming quite clear. And the fact that our YAML files now are clean and we're putting all the Ginger to one side in these .ginger files, I think it makes it quite powerful because there's a lot more control over the data that's coming in, and you don't need to worry about it. If we split all the YAML files, but they don't affect you, at your end, you can put whatever overrides you need in the parameters directory and not worry about what the formula is providing. So I think it's still.
I completely agree. Just that when people are used to write their own formula for their own use, they feel in complete control of their custom map Jinja. So our needs may be completely different because we need to make it easily extendable. That's the reason why we started with all that stuff first.
Yes, definitely. Anyway, I think we're ready to move on with this and actually start getting. There was a couple of points about the documentation, though. You might have seen there was a couple of threads in the Slack channel. One was about not quite understanding the tree structure to be used. Yeah. So now that we've got this merged, we can go in here and look at the documentation. And what we have here is trying to understand how to get. Where's this section over here? So this is good, because it's showing that when you want your overrides, you've got the roots first in your backend, so that it'll look there first. And I don't think what's not quite clear here is how. See, we need maybe some comment of where the parameters override goes in. So obviously it goes in. Well, this is fine. This would cover everything, but the parameters override is not being shown here quite clearly where it is.
Yeah, the parameters are done after when you create per DNS configuration.
Right.
So you have the mkdir,
Yeah, I understand myself. I'm just trying to think. I think we need to make it a bit clearer for others. Or what was I looking for? Have you got maybe a tree, just a little layout of a tree command or something with the directories only? Maybe perhaps that would help in this document, just to show how an example of how it can be set up to make sure that the overrides take place in the right way. Yeah. So that would be one comment about this. And the other one was just asking about SLS util.merge, but that's just a general salt. It's a salt feature anyway, so it's not really our job to explain that. But the fact it's using it now is an example out there of how to take advantage of the features. What am I looking for? I'm looking for is it in the map Ginger, or is it
in the files? How to just add the package instead of writing everything again. That was the comment in IRC.
Yeah, I'm just checking. Yeah, is it in the libmapstack form? The Ginger file.
Yes.
Yeah, this is it. So this comment here, people want to know how to do things like merging lists, which at the moment with grains.filterby that are in the old map Ginger, it doesn't have that feature where you can set merge lists, whereas we can now with slsutil.merge. So things like that is very helpful, is that there's more control given to the end user to take advantage of more features of Salt for when they're merging their maps. So things like the strategy and the merge lists. Yeah, there's no real comment here. It's just the fact that it's there now. People will be able to see from these comments that there is more power that they've got to control the way their data is merged.
Yes, but maybe it can be better explained in the documentation.
Perhaps you're right. Yeah, maybe it would be helpful.
Or maybe even an example in the template. You know, the package list, for example, installing 2 instead of only 1 package.
Yes. Actually, we've got it here. You've got the documentation already. It's already in the. So that's fine. It's there already. So that helps explain what those extra features are that we've got enabled now. All right. So that's merged. So we can now. Well, actually, what I should be able to do is put this into the SSF, because these files are always the same. MapGinger now is always the same as these 2 libraries here. These can be put into the SSF to make it easier now when we're at least reviewing those PRs or making new PRs for other formulas to have the new MapGinger in them. So that's really great. We've got these under control, or we'll have them under control fairly soon, which is nice to have.
So you want to add the map stack and the matchers .jinja, both libs, separately from converting to v5?
What do you mean by separately?
Well, you want to put a pull request only to add those files to the formula?
To SSF, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, if you want to do that, you're welcome. What the one thing I'm going to have to figure out, there's one hang up. It's not major. It will be as new files are being added that are being managed by this formula. Let me just go to this file over here, formulas.yaml.
I think like every formula that use map data as variable.
Yes, yeah, it should be enough to do that. That's what I think as well. But I just want to just show the section. So over here, where's the files? So here somewhere. Okay, here. It's not the easiest to read because obviously all these node anchors, but these are the files being managed by the formula so far. And in most cases, everything is under this key. Actually, no, all of them are under this key. But what I have here is a separate key over here. So not all formulas are using the verifier, for example. So what I did is I had to separate them for the time being. So I need to just work out, can we put the new MapGinger under the top key here, which is the main key, so that it just goes to all formulas? Or do I still need to do it under a separate key in order to only use it conditionally? You're probably right. It's probably enough to just check for if the new map data is being used or not.
Yeah, actually, there is only 2 cases when we can use this v5 MapGinger. Is from v4, if I remember. v4 was using map data already, right?
v4, I think, yeah, but there wasn't many. I hadn't put many of them in at the time. So
if you have a single map data, you can always override the MapGinger, lib matchers, and lib map stack. And if you have more than 1 variable like OpenSSH, I think in OpenSSH you have.
Yes, we have here. Here we go. No, not anymore. Remember, because you've put them all under map. You've put them all under map data now, haven't you? You put all 3 underneath there.
So every formula who has map data can have
those files, the new libraries.
V5.
Yeah. So it should be okay. It should be able to just put under the top key. But yeah, if you want to do that PR, that's fine. I was going to tackle it in my own time, but if you want to put that PR through, that'd be great as well. I'm happy with that too.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll
so
try to understand how it works.
Yeah. Even if you put the basic structure, I'll just top up and put the rest of the little fiddly bits.
Okay.
All right. So that's great. We've got the version 5 up and running, and that moves me on to the next thing. So there was a lot of, you might have noticed, there was a lot of work on updating all the the pre-salted images across all of the formulas. If I just quickly go to Salt Image Builder, have I got that here? Actually, there's been some quite interesting things here. Not that exciting maybe for others, but things like getting Gentoo working properly, because I'm not sure if you've run any PRs with Gentoo involved, but they were really, really slow. And we figured out ways to improve the performance of the pre-salted images so that we, how can I put it? We don't have to download. It's syncing whenever it runs refresh DB, when it's trying to sync with the latest packages, that takes up to 15 minutes sometimes. So we figured out ways around that, which is quite nice. But if we look here in the YAML file, which is producing all the images, and you can see we've moved everything up to the latest after CVE release, all the versions there. But moving our formulas up to these new values was quite an effort, a bit more than I thought it'd be, but it's all done now, which is really good. And yesterday I was able to run something in the evening to test all of our formulas again with the latest master. So this is now the release candidate 3000.3. If we look here in the files, that doesn't matter so much, but it is the release candidate for sure. Now, the results were good. Most were all passing. Most were passing fine without problems, but there's a couple that need to be looked at. I've actually already opened them up here, but let's close this. Most of them are just on the new Rubocop because we're running a separate job for Rubocop, so don't worry about those ones so much. But it's things like this. So all the master instances failed on the OpenVPN formula. So if we look over here, which one is this? Yeah, this is the OpenVPN. And all are master, I believe, yeah. So if we just open one of these up, perhaps, David, you might have a better idea about what's going on here. They converge fine. They just fail at the last verification stage. And it's got some sort of, what's it talking about? Does this strike anything? I think it's at the security level.
I mean, is this something within Salt which has changed, or is it something within the test environment?
It might be. Because it might. Yeah, go on.
Oh well, I mean, I'm almost talking out loud here because it's not obvious to me. The test does look in the log file for certain pattern, so maybe
OpenVPN formula. What test is it failing? It's failing the
service.
So this is
well, the initialization of the OpenVPN server, which.
So would that be the services file? Okay. So where is it? Where is it failing here? So it's over here. You're saying this section here.
Well, yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So it looks in both log files for the server and the client, although both are on the same machine.
Right.
Just for those lines.
Just for that one line. Yeah, looking for that one line. Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that could change between versions of OpenVPN, but I don't see how it could change between versions of Salt itself. So, yeah, what is going on here?
Yeah, because this was passing before 3003 or the release candidate was sent through. So you can see here, this is only 3 days ago, while we were still on the version just before, and everything was fine there. So it's definitely something that's happened on the newest Salt.
It was the same OpenVPN version or the same libSSL versions?
It's going to be something. Yeah.
Maybe there is an update of a library and making OpenSSL failing to initialize. You see insecure cipher, it looks like there is some change under the hood.
Yeah, but
at the OS level.
I think that's.
Well, I can push.
I think that's a red herring because, I mean, presumably the same OSs are passing under other versions of Salt. I
Shall I,
gather from
shall I
from what
quickly
you
push
said.
something? Let me push something through quickly as we're talking. But yeah, I
mean,
think it's going to be the new version.
What it seems to me, based on the fact that the log file does not contain the correct success line, is that Salt is not configuring OpenVPN correctly now under that version.
You could be right. You could be, and this will be good to find out and
Because,
report back.
yeah, the service could still be running at a system level, but something's not right in the config file. I mean, I'm just guessing here, obviously.
No, I reckon you might be right, because if we can have a look here and just pull, say, I mean, it won't be, we want to get rid of these for a second. And we can't do 3002.5 because that will be affected as well. So let's do 3001. And let's just run, it doesn't work off all of them. You know, I'm just going to do all of them. I know some of them won't work. That doesn't matter. And CI test 3001 point, what is it, 6? Oh yeah, that's the one. And let's push that through so we can at least compare in a minute. Where's my pipelines? Make sure it's running, or it might take a minute to just pick up. Okay, well, yeah, that's come through. So it's created. So we'll have a look at that in a minute. But so what we're saying here is it possibly because of these changes, because we had some other ones where some security-based changes have hit other formulas, and so we had to make adjustments as we was moving to the latest pre-salted images. So I reckon you might be right. There's something going on probably from a Salt side of things. Is there any way we can control this from the pillar that's actually sent through to the tests?
I mean, I think that warning is a red herring, because that's just a factor of the configuration that we've put in place for the tests. You know, this is a test of the formula, not a test that OpenVPN is running securely, if you see what I mean. So I don't think that warning is the issue. But yeah, I would have to look into this more. But obviously it's good that we're catching it before that version is even released. So
yeah, definitely. So we're sure there's nothing really coming in from this side that should have that impact. I mean, this pillar, I can't see anything there that's...
Well, yeah, well, nothing. I haven't changed that configuration in possibly years at this stage. So if the failure is only running on that release candidate, then it must be something in the release candidate.
Okay.
Which has changed the configuration.
Right. Well, we'll just let this run and confirm that these are still working, and then we can follow it up and see whether it is something with Salt itself. I can't reach the thing's getting in my way. Zoom's getting in my way. All right, never mind. All right, another one that got caught was, let's have a look here. This one, don't worry about. This is the JetBrains formula. Archer stopped working for some reason. I'll figure that one out. rspamd, what's this? What's the problem here? Did I open it up? Yeah, this is again something new that started popping up just after the RC was released. So might be another problem under the hood that we need to address. We won't dwell on that one too much. Oh, the template formula had something interesting. The failure here is in the conversion, and it's a Ruby version. I haven't had a chance to look at the way we call the conversion test. Are we setting Ruby in there somewhere? Because it's saying that it doesn't work with this particular version. Is this the same thing we had in the OpenVPN formula? This particular gem has a problem with the Ruby version. Hello?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, that's the same problem, yes.
Oh, so it should be solved. Yeah.
So the test environment has to be running a newer Ruby.
So this is convert. Right, so that extends test conversion. and this over here is not running the right version of Ruby. So am I using a different image here? I am. So it's this. So the actual image I'm providing hasn't got the right version of Ruby available. Now, why in the world did I start using that instead of using the actual Alpine base? So what it is this image over here is Alpine based, it's provided by Docker itself. And this one's actually 1804, Ubuntu 1804 behind the scenes, but that's built with a lower version of Ruby. So I think it was one of these commands over here that I couldn't do it directly. Maybe I think it was failing with the installing of hooks. I'd have to check that out, but we'd have to have a look at that. What I'll do, I'll just dig into that and try the other image first again and find out what the problem was. And then we'd have to just adjust this to work with a higher level of Ruby one way or another. Although it's not broken right now, this was me checking with the latest gems as well. So I did a bundle update.
That makes sense then.
Yeah. It's not just suddenly started failing.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
Part of this overall testing, I just put everything new on the table so it would catch everything that's coming up. All right, so we'll have a look at that together as well. In the meantime, has that pipeline got anywhere? These ones might have been failing. We need to see the passes. All right, we'll come back to that in a moment. Now, were there any other issues that were coming up in the last couple of weeks that we need to address? Just trying to... Anything else you guys can recall?
No, not really.
Only, do you remember we were talking about GitLab, the CI in GitLab, and you said you had a script to share?
A script? Oh, right. I haven't got around to that just yet. That's not been on the top of my mind. Although you just reminded me, we have started using, thanks to David, we've started using the GitHub Actions for some of our formulas. What we had is, are these all failing? Okay, these are failing as well now. So that's very strange. It happened at the same time. Oh no, of course. So what we're actually establishing here is what's taking place, because this is obviously part of the CVE as well, the 3001.6 that's been patched. So any patched version of Salt, so I don't think this is an RC thing. It's happened after the patching. Patched versions of Salt are not dealing with the OpenVPN properly anymore.
Okay, well, I can take a look at it.
All right, okay, I'll leave that in your hands. Right, so the other thing that did come up, which was actually in the end, again, thanks to David, a lot simpler than I imagined it will be. So there's two formulas. Let's go to, it's grabbing anywhere. Actually, Docker is one of them. Docker is one of the formulas, and the other one was Asinga. So what we had is these two were not being tested reliably in GitLab. And so let's look at this over here. So we've got obviously the kitchen.yaml here is always for our Linux-based testing. And I don't have an example here either, because this is only Linux-based as well. If we just quickly go to the OpenVPN, we'll see what I mean. So what you have here in terms of kitchen files, you've got the kitchen.yaml is for Linux testing. That's obviously for Vagrant, which is things like Windows or FreeBSD, although FreeBSD isn't currently working. And this was originally called kitchen.github.yaml, but since we'll be using GitHub for some of our Linux testing as well now, we've renamed it to kitchen.windows.yaml. And in order to work with them in GitHub Actions, we're sticking to the same names that we have in the root here. So Linux testing under GitHub Actions will also be called kitchen.yaml, and the Windows testing kitchen.windows.yaml. So if we look at the workflows here, you can see we have a kitchen.windows.yaml here, which means this is testing Windows in GitHub Actions. If we go back to these other formulas, which have just been converted, and we go into the workflows, we have a kitchen.yaml, which is showing you that that's a Linux tests that are running in GitHub Actions. And this was actually a lot smaller than I thought it'd end up as. I haven't put the other sections for linting and semantic release because I'm still deferring those to GitLab to take care of those. But in terms of the basic steps of running our test, I mean, you can see it's very, very similar. Once you've got the matrix set up, that you just provide those instances there as usual, and it does the same thing as what we're used to in Travis and GitLab. So if we look at the actions here for one moment, except I don't think the actions have ever run on the salt stack side, or have they? No, not for Kitchen Linux, not so far, but they have in my fork. So let's do that. And we have our testing there. I just find this interface a little bit tougher to work with than I do with GitLab and even with Travis, but we'll get used to it, I'm sure. But it's now,
well, it's you know, it's a work in progress.
Absolutely. But it's good that we've got it, because it gives us testing on formulas which for some reason weren't working in GitLab before. So that's the icing of formula, and Docker has a bit more testing going on. If we have a look, what am I picking that for?
Do you have any idea why they weren't working in?
Yeah, I dug down. I'll show you in a minute. I'd love someone to. Oh no, Docker actually works in GitLab, but there was about. So let's have a look how many we've got here. We've got quite a few running in Docker. So we've got how many instances? I mean, we've got a fair few instances running there, as you can see, because there's quite a few suites in Docker Formula as well. And some of these are actually running. So I think I mentioned last time as well, is rather than running just one suite per instance, per job, if you like, what I've done is where it works with all of the suites defined for the formula, we're just running all of them in one job just to maximize testing all around. So these are actually running all three suites, and some of them are only running one. Now, most of these, so what I just found when I run it in GitLab CI, most of these were working, but for whatever reason, some of them were having SSH problems. I don't know what happened at that point. Like, it got further down into the job, and when it tried to verify, it was hitting SSH problems. So I was like, if it's a lot more stable in the GitHub Actions, let's just put it there and let it do its thing, because it's performing as it should do without running into any sort of bugs or trip ups. The single one, on the other hand, was very interesting. I didn't get to the bottom of it. I did ask Javier for a bit of advice about how to deal with it. If we go to pipelines there, what am I looking for? Let's go down here for a second. There's one command. Actually, it's failing during the package installation. So let's take this one instance here. I'd love someone to explain this to me, but I've got a feeling that's not a good example. That's not a good example. It's a bit further down, I think. Oh yeah, this is one of them. So what happens is, let's get down to a more useful part of the log. We'll just go up from the bottom if you. Oh no, it's not showing it very well here. It's one of these over here. Just trying to find a good example, but I'm not succeeding so far. I'm sure I might fix it. Yeah, this is it. This will show it. So what was happening is, even during the package installed phase, it was actually failing. So I sort of took the packages that were being installed. This dog is hard to work with. Oh, that's why. Sorry, trying to find a way to. Right. So as you can see here, is I was looking at all the packages that were being installed during the process and installing them one by one instead. And what you've got here is when it starts running. So these are all the, right. This particular package in GitLab CI, when you try to install it, it takes 10 minutes. And what I found is in the post installation script, it was running a certain isinger command called isinger2 features. And whenever it tried to run that command, it was just timing out for, for almost 10 minutes every single time. And this formula actually during its process has to run quite a number of those commands. So we're just getting a big timeout. So I don't know if we'll actually see it down here. It doesn't show up in the log, but you can see from the timings is that it just takes forever to try to do it. I don't know if anyone's got any experience with this package, or isinger2, but it's just that one command. It's just hanging GitLab CI for 10 minutes each time, but it didn't do that in Travis and it doesn't do it in GitHub Actions. So if anyone can explain that to me, I'd be really much obliged.
Well, I don't know if it's possibly, well, I was going to say waiting for input or something, but
oh no, it finishes.
Clearly, yeah, if it's working in other.
It's this command here. So you see, they run a number of them, but each one of these states, just running this one command takes 10 minutes in GitLab CI. And I did try to work out, is this a GitLab CI problem? Is it an isinger problem? Who do you talk to? And in the end, that's why I actually came to GitHub Actions. I was like, let me just try and run one in GitHub Actions to see if it works, because it used to work in Travis, and it did. So that's why I was like, okay, great, we've got that available. Let's just push this into GitHub Actions and, let's move forward rather than, but if anyone can figure out why isinger2 feature, what it's doing behind the scenes to cause GitLab CI to each state run 10 minutes, that would be interesting to find out what's going on.
Yeah, no idea myself.
Yeah, I think it'd have to be chased up with GitLab, to be honest. I'm just quickly checking here. We had some tabs open last time. Otherwise, we'll just end we can just end, I suppose. Oh, this one over here, Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, where are we with this PR over here? Was it finished and just needs reviewing? The one about how to use.
Oh, no. I need to do things on the documentation. Yes.
Okay, so we'll leave that for now. And that's being used. I think we've already merged that now, so we can close that. Right. Yep. All right, unless there's anything else, I think we can finish up for now. Yep.
No, that's me. I'm happy.
All right, great. Well, good to talk to you guys again, and we'll catch up hopefully in 2 weeks' time.
Okay, well, I'll just say, if you look in Slack in Former's channel, I did find a script to update the default branch in GitHub.
All right, okay.
So have a look at that.
Okay,
if you want.
Definitely. I think Daniel's posted something here as well. Is that another, the GitHub renaming package? Is that a different?
That's just a kind of that's more of a description of the process that GitHub have gone through to implement branch renaming and things like that.
Okay. Well,
I mean, it's interesting. Yeah.
All right. We can have a look at those and give some feedback to each other, and maybe by the next meeting we'll have an idea of what we want to do about that.
Okay.
All right. Good talking to you guys. Catch up next time.
Okay. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.